Welcome back to Convos with Cam. And I'm just so excited that all of you were able to just take a moment of your day to stop by for this brief premiere. I appreciate everyone that came out last night for the live. I thank all of my new subscribers, and I also thank all of you that were able to go back and watch the replay. First off, there were a couple things I wanted to mention. Couple of family members that were in the chat that I may have missed. Um, First, shout out to Freedom's March. I appreciate you, bro, for just stopping by and always continue to show your support. Also, Jonathan Simon, I think I just missed something you had said, and it was in regards to possibly maybe just having some things going on right now. And so I want to personally extend prayers to you, over whatever situation or things that you're dealing with at this time. Okay. Appreciate all of you. Don't forget to hit that like button. Don't forget to maybe share the video. May not be for you, but it may be for someone else, right? All right, let's get going. So, something that came up last night is how when we worry, it seems uncontrollable to the point we feel as though we have no control over it. We feel that we just can't help it. It's just going to keep happening. And we are staying in this state of worry. So we acknowledge that the word starts with what ifs, right? We acknowledged that intrusive thoughts, they happen automatically. It's not like we invite them. Those thoughts of worry may pop in your mind where it becomes distressful and begins to interrupt our daily functioning, right? Is when we chase after that thought. So, what does that look like? That means that instead of us stopping in that moment and maybe challenging or disputing this belief that we have, that holds and encompasses the worry, we chase after it. We begin to write false narratives to support something that hasn't even happened yet. Think of that, right? So then you might say, well, Cam, I just try to ignore it. You ever noticed how when you try to ignore the worry, it seems to only become that much more, unmanageable? Yeah, because that's basically suppressing the thoughts. And suppression, we've already proved it's not the best practice to have for self because the feeling is there. The thought, it's real, it's there. You're experiencing that thought, you're experiencing that worry. But what if we were to learn how to challenge and dispute these beliefs, right? Before we start spiraling and before we start experiencing cognitive distortions and before we start writing all of these false narratives, right? Because it's possible that your perspective is what's skewed, right? It's possible that the perspective you have about your worry is what is skewed rather than the worry itself being uncontrollable. No. So let's just try something really quick. I want you to think about these questions. So say you're going through your day, you're at work or whatever task you may be doing that requires your undivided attention. In that moment, are you worried about this thought? And we want to be honest. Mm-mm. If something has our undivided attention, that means we're not worried about that thought that we had moments ago. So then that makes our statement of I worry all the time untrue because that means that something can happen in your day to day that interrupts this thought and you're not able to really focus on it. Mm-mm. So that's one way to show that the worrying is not uncontrollable. Because if it were, then that means you would avoid all tasks and you wouldn't be able to do anything else but just sit with the worry. And if that is what is happening, then I encourage you to seek, therapeutic support. Um, because sometimes it can get to that space and place where one does become stuck. And I believe one of the family used the word paralyzed in this worry. So obviously, if it gets to that point, then I would encourage you to seek help. I would. But typically, no, for most of us, if something comes up, we are easily able to perform the task and we're not thinking about that thought that we were worried about. Mm-mm. Yeah, because you were too busy doing something else. Yeah. What if you were to learn a way to not suppress the worrying, but maybe at least postpone it? It's a word that is in that word, uncontrollable. My worrying being uncontrollable. It's the lack of control that we feel we're experiencing. When we begin to be more intentional with challenging and disputing this belief, this thought that we have, that allows us to gain that which we need. And that's that feeling of control. That's why we worry, because falsely, we have told ourselves that worrying will allow us to be more in control of that which may happen. We're talking about uncertainties here, y'all. And certain things we do not have control over. But what if you focused more on the present in those things which you do have control over? Think about that. Because in just a typical, scenario where one worries, it does stop at some point during your day. It's not happening all the time. Like I said, if it is, then I would strongly encourage you to seek help. I really would, to seek that help and support. Okay. The biggest thing I want you to really grab hold to in this premiere is you have a worrying thought. Just because you have the worrying thought does not mean that you need to chase it any further. No, doesn't mean that. Doesn't mean that, you need to lay down just a whole red carpet and say, come on, thought, yep, I'm about to take you in and we're about to just write a whole novel to support that which isn't. right? So I just invite all of you and encourage you to begin to reflect on this. And in the next segment, we are actually going to start the work and experiment together. For all of my people who love testing and hypotheses and all of those things, right? We'll make it more scientific because sometimes that can be easier to deal with certain things that we're experiencing versus diving so deep into the emotions. Okay. I'll actually probably do a live video just to ensure we all navigate through the process appropriately and in a safe space so that way we can begin to disrupt this pattern of worry. I appreciate all of you. As always, be gentle with yourself, for we are all doing this thing called life for the very first time. Peace and blessings always. Until next time.